still holding my hand in front of the car, so you can't fully see it yet. Today is car collection day, getting a new car into Automann's garage. And within the next, let's say, seconds, you will already realize that thumbnail and title were a bit of a clickbait, but today we're talking about our new C63 Performance T model. You can already see that shape, and why this is so special and why you probably will love the car will be shown in the next few minutes. I know there has been a lot of debate about the new C63, the hybrid C63 on the internet, because so many people were discussing about it. Is the four-cylinder really the right engine for this heritage car, or do you need something with a V8 under the hood? And maybe they could convince some of you guys out there. But honestly, they didn't convince us as much. And as the new C63 was revealed with a four-cylinder engine, we decided to go for one of these. You are the expert, guys. You've already seen what's underneath there. Let's lift this cover and see what we have here. Carefully. Still stuck in there. First glimpse. Yes, this looks like a legendary AMG. Let's pull it further off. You can already see it starting right there. This is the W04 C63, the original one. Let's pull it off here. With the 6.2 liter engine under the bonnet. More or less the car that made AMG famous, or made the C63 famous in the end. In the next few minutes, let's take a step back. Let's do a journey in the past for let's say, into the last 10 years and look at all the details of this car, because this car is fully original, like it went off the factory 2013 in Affalterbach. And we will go through all the details, all the specs of this car, what you could order back then. For me personally, this is a very, very exciting moment. To not buy a new car, but to buy a car that is 10 years old, still feels like it just went out of the delivery van. And really looking forward to show you this car within the next week and month on Instagram and YouTube. But let's continue to pull the cover off to look at this wonderful car. By the way, this cover, of course, is an original AMG cover that you could order. I don't know if that was standard, but I don't think it was standard. I didn't find it on the price page, but we will look at all the details on the price page for the car back then. Those quad exhausts, when they were still oval, they were still real. They still brought back everything from the 6.2 liter engine, and also this part here is what made AMG famous in this piece of heritage of Affalterbach and AMG. First of all, I will explain you why we decided to buy such a car, why we also went for the T model, the estate version. And then secondly, as said, go through the price page and see all the boxes that have been ticked back then in 2013 or whenever, when somebody ordered this car. It's going to be very interesting. So as said in the beginning, we already knew that the new C63 would be a four-cylinder. And although I have not driven the car yet, I have to say that I have not driven the new C63. I still wasn't fully convinced that. I just watched the review that Tim Schmee150 uploaded a few days ago, and also he was, let's say, not critical, but very honest about the result of the new C63 from a design perspective, but also from a power perspective. He said that the package is not what he was expecting of an AMG or what he was expecting of a C63. And we knew that also the predecessor, we owned the predecessor, the W05, that was a great car with the 4-liter V8, but of course I was also looking at a car that is very stable from a pricing perspective, maybe even a car where prices are going up. And then I decided I want to go for a C63, and I really want to have that T model and wagon shape, because what BMW just did with the M3 Touring is great, and this is more or less, you could say, the M3 Touring from the past back then. Of course, also RS4 was in the same league, but none of those other cars back then had the huge 6.2 liter engine. And this is, yeah, the best recipe you can get. I think also that the shape is really, really nice. And also from an interior perspective, you will see in just a second that the T model in the wagon is really one of the nicest specs that you go for. I was also looking at some coupes, and of course I still love them, but I said for me personally, yeah, the C63S T model, also with their quad exhaust tailpipes here and that rear view is something that I wanted to have. It's something between a sleeper and a legend, and that makes it somehow so special. And I think also the design language were very, very nice back then already with Mercedes. So all the experts of you have already realized the first and main, let's say, option that this car had. It has the red brake calipers, which means it has the performance pack. The performance pack means that we have not only a red brake caliper, but there are some different discs, and I think also the braking system is a bit different, like some component discs in there compared to the normal ones. I'm not the technical expert, maybe you can write it down in the comments, but there is a difference in the braking system already between the regular one and the performance one. Of course, the main difference in the performance version is the engine, the 6.2 liter. Well, as we talk about it, let's put it open, that front engine bay, because that is something that you all want to see. Where is it? And look at that glorious V8. So there it is, the mighty 6.2. I mean, you can already see from a dimension and size perspective how big this engine was back then. But probably the most important part about this one is that if you pick the performance pack, you not only got software enhanced 30 horsepower, something like that, to 487 HP, but you also got more or less the engine or engine components of the SLS AMG. So it's a major upgrade. Also on the price page, I think it was something around 6,500 euros back then, which was already a lot of money. So that meant that you have the pistons from the SLS AMG, they're lightweight and some different material. You have this gray part in here, which is usually silver with the normal engines. Of course, the SLS had a dry sump oil. This one, of course, has a regular oil support. And you have a lightweight crankshaft, I think, or drive shaft. I don't know if you how you call it. That's underneath the car. So that is the turning math is lower, and that means that the engine can rev up even faster than the regular one. Of course, for everybody that doesn't know, this is naturally aspirated, of course. There's no turbo in it, and the torque is simply being brought up because we have 6.2 liter engine displacement. To the overall condition of the car is in a mint condition. If you look at the engine bay now and say, okay, it's a bit dusty, there was nothing cleaned just for show in here. This is the original dust that was in there. The car has not been detailed yet or anything. Maybe that's something we are going to plan. But if you look at this car, it just went more or less through a car wash, let's say it like that. No detailing done, no enhancements done. It already, you see that this is in a mint condition, kept in a mint condition from the previous owners over the last 10 years. Also, if you look at the rims, I mean, come on, a 10-year-old car where you can see no scratches whatsoever on the rims, and everything looks like new. Also, no damages, no crashes on the car. I was really amazed when I saw this car, and also the condition in comparison to other cars. And that's also the reason why I chose it. To wrap it up at the outside, of course, the next options that we had here, as said, a performance pack. We have the driver's pack, which means this car is limited to 280 kilometers per hour. Of course, the rims are an option. This were the matte black multi-spoke wheels, or how they called it. I only have the German price list here, I'm sorry, but I think you can get the idea that we go through it. Outside, as said, this paint is diamond white, brilliant white. I think it's also paint in a similar manner that is still available today with AMGs. And yeah, outside there's not much more you could take. I think there was only the option to also take carbon fiber exterior pack. Not really sure if that's available or was available for the T model. Maybe that was only available for the coupe. So more or less, this is the most aggressive and most, let's say, exciting spec probably that you could take. But of course, if you also have that car in a dark color, something like black or blue, and you have the rims then in silver, it also looks very classic. And yeah, the C63 or the AMG spirit, for everybody who is aware and is a car nerd and a petrol head, comes across really, really nicely. So without further talking in the cold outside, let's jump inside. I will talk you through the details inside and also the condition of the car interior. But for that, we will probably park it over there because there's more light coming from the side. And it's your turn now to listen to the V8 startup sound. Oh my word, that is unbelievable considering car sounds that we have been hearing for the past couple of years. Of course, not only in terms of OPFs, but also in terms of WLTP, noise regulations and emission regulations. This just sounds so natural, it sounds so good, and the best part about it was I did not rev more than 3,800 RPMs in that clip we just did. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is just a bit of water, of course, since it's so cold outside, that came out of the exhaust. Runs super smoothly. I mean, the way that the engine revs up, saying it again, for a 10-year-old car, from a technical perspective, from a design perspective, from a paint perspective, everything looks nice. But of course, now it's time to look inside the car. Look at those specs there. I'm just in love. Black, red, white. It's just the perfect contrast, I believe. Let's shut off the engine here. Look at this here, just an example. How solid that door closes. Yeah, but let's take a look inside. Turn off the car. The best part about this is that we have, not only from the outside, but we also have from the inside, a Designo leather in here. It's called Classic Red. On camera it looks very orange, bright red, but in real life it looks more like back there. It's, yeah, as what you would expect from Classic Red. A very premium red color, of course with the AMG logo in here, and the quality of the leather and the stitching is amazing, honestly. Also something I was really astonished about, you can see it already, this is a 10-year-old Alcantara steering wheel of Mercedes. No detailing done. It looks, yeah, maybe not like new, but amazing for that, let's say, age, and for the 88,000 kilometers that the car has. Also, all the other parts, everything feels so high quality. The stitching, the leather, yeah, the door handles, how everything feels. This is Mercedes quality, as, yeah, you could already say the W05 never was able to reach again, because we owned the W05 C63s, and I never realized that there was such premium feel in that Mercedes. It looked good, but yeah, this of course looks a bit dated, you could say, from a design, but it's classic style, and everything opens, closes like on the first day. And maybe that's also the reason why so many people loved and paid a lot of money for Mercedes cars in the past, because this was really the case. Let's continue with some of the options chosen in this car, as we're at the side here. The first option you can see is the Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds really decent also for a car of that age. We have, of course, the memory function, electric seat adjustment, memory function, and something more important, you can also electrically, I don't know if you can see it, but you can adjust the sides of the seat. You can, of course, adjust the Lordosenstütze, I don't know what the English word is, honestly, the back support, and yeah, a lot of stuff I was not expecting to get in a 10-year-old Mercedes, because this bucket seat, you can see that from the top here. I mean, first of all, the leather looks really, really good considering the kilometers that the car has. But secondly, also, the side comes across really, really far. And yeah, it's a very good seating position. I mean, comparing it to an M3 Touring again, they're not so far apart, because the M3 Touring has those bucket seats in there, and the estate version, this is very similar. Of course, the Alcantara steering wheel was always standard with the performance version, so that's a part where you can see the performance version. The steering wheel was always flat at top and bottom. Something that I probably would not expect, but this is maybe even the only option. This is a dark wood. You cannot even see it. It's almost black. It's a dark wood. I probably would have taken a carbon fiber, but nevertheless, it still fits to the character of the car, because it looks more or less black, and no change in there. Let's take a seat inside. Something I also really like is the center speedo with the color display inside. Of course, that is not C63 specific. It was there with every C-Class, but nevertheless, it's very easy to use. Also, cruise control with an extra knob here, electronically adjustable steering wheel. Everything is in there. That is something really nice. This is the Command online system, which features TMC Pro and some other even online functionalities. And works really good. There's even a possibility aftermarket solutions to get Apple CarPlay into that thing. I was thinking about doing it, but yeah, in the end also you can still use a cell phone. I just need a mount or something like that for those few kilometers, because this is a collector's car more or less. I think that is also fine. Of course, we have the 7-speed automatic transmission, so that is the MCT speed shift, so single wet clutch. Which has those nice gear shifts. I mean, in the next video sometime we will also do, of course, accelerations, and we will show you a lot of stuff about that one, how it sounds and how it works. Everything else I would say is normal C-Class stuff in here. And with that, I think we have a good first overview. Saying it again, overall, I'm very amazed by the condition of this car. This is 100% original. We will also keep it 100% original. That is the plan. Really keep the past in this car in here, and not change anything. Exhaust system, of course, is 100% original. I was looking a long time for a car that really is a collector's item, and I'm, after the first few hundred kilometers, unfortunately the weather is not very good, I'm very, very happy, and there's so many things that I'm really amazed of how good Mercedes made cars back then, amazed about the condition of this car, amazed how good engines were before we had all the emission regulations, because honestly, transmission and engine just work perfectly, honestly. No lag whatsoever. Of course, what comes out of the exhaust is not the most eco-friendly stuff. We have to be honest about it, but nevertheless, it's a good car and a great piece of AMG Affalterbach heritage. Without further talking, I would say we ended right here. Hope you enjoyed this way into the past, and I'm really looking forward to your comments, what you think about the car, what you would have done different, write me your questions, what you're expecting in the next videos. And with that, I wish you a wonderful weekend, and talk to you soon.